May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke audio podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. So today's brief memory, another in a string of them from me, DC. Well, it's something that was included in a piece I read for Tassara Stories a few months ago, probably. So you may or may not have already heard it. And it goes like this. In July 1969, just after the historic moon landing, Suzuki Roshi gave a lecture in which he poo-pooed the whole thing and said, as I remember, "I'm not interested in anyone who's interested in going to the moon." At the time, I was taking a break from the Tassara guest season, living in Pacific Grove and studying Japanese at the Monterey Institute of Foreign Studies, now the Monterey Institute of International Studies. I had an interesting neighbor named Ed who had a PhD in one of the sciences. Ed had a scale model of the moon landing rocket that he'd put together. I asked him if I could borrow it, and he generously complied. The next weekend, I drove back up to San Francisco for the Saturday morning practice and lecture at Sokoji. After the lecture, I asked Suzuki if I could see him. I brought the rocket model into his office and showed it to him, pulling the first stage off, then the second, then the moon landing vehicle, explaining what I knew about the flight, landing, and return. He was genuinely interested, fascinated, playful in response, curious, not a shred of negativity. I put the rocket back together, said goodbye, and drove back to PG, occasionally laughing. See, you got to understand when teachers say something, it's one side. So in terms of our practice, Zazen, the whole moon thing, it's not important, it's nothing. But so is everything else. But in terms of being a human being, it's very interesting. Yeah. So we have to be careful about pigeonholing who he was and who we are. Not one thing, you know? And sometimes this, sometimes that. And we get knocked off when we're clinging to one side. We get knocked off it. Not by a teacher, by our own karma or our own life or our own wisdom. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Okay, this has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'm DC Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from sleepy Sanur with Dog and Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka, and we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.